Good morning. It's 119 days until Christmas 2020. And today we have a bunch of different topics to talk about. But one of the things I wanted to start with was this question about Endor. Last night, if you are a member of Denim Nerds or you follow the Denim Nerds and are keeping up with the Nerd Card Showdown, they had a show last night and they wanted to talk about, or one of the questions was about the planet the, uh, that uh, that the Ewoks live on. That wasn't the question. The question was something like this moon, blah 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 blah, and the answer then was the name of the moon. And so in the actual showdown, the question came up, and the answer they gave, which was credited correct, was Endor. And then that spurred a bunch of conversation in the chat. And in the chat, then we started talking about, well, what is the name of that moon? So I thought this morning we would talk about that a little bit because there's some confusion out there. The other things, there's some news that came out yesterday regarding the upcoming uh, uh, trailer for The Mandalorian. There's some chat about there about a new Twitter group called All Star Wars is Good, and is that a good uh, movement? And so there's just several things out there that I think we could talk about this morning and bring some light to, and and maybe get a little more clarity. So let's start with this bit about Endor. And many of us in the chat last night during the Nerd Card Showdown we're under the understanding, or we have the understanding, that the forest moon of Endor is one of the uh, one of the moons that orbits the planet of Endor. Other people were saying no, that they thought that was the name of the moon itself, the Battle of Endor, or the uh, the uh, the moon of Endor that's the name of the moon. So I don't know that I'm going to help with that a whole lot, but I'll give you at least where we're coming from. And so let's take a look at this. I've got a couple of things open here. Let's move this over out of the way, and then let's give it a little more space. All right, so if you go to Wikipedia, you'll see that there are two different entries for Endor. One is called Endor, other is Endor Planet. So let's start with just Endor. And a nice, if you've not been out on Wikipedia, you're not all that familiar with how it's laid out, they typically have these two tabs inside of the page, one for canon, one for legends. And as we look at Endor and want to know, okay, what's the deal? We scroll down, you'll see Endor designated blah blah blah. Also known as the forest moon of Endor, the sanctuary moon was a small forested moon orbited the outer rim planet of the same name. All right, so there we have the forest moon of Endor, or Endor, is a moon that orbits a planet of the same name. This is in the canon tab of Endor here. Now, I think this is a little odd. So the other part that's in here is in the Endor system, which is characterized by the largest planet in the system and where the habitable planets are. So, or moons in this case. So, in this Wikipedia article, they're saying that it's the name of the moon as well as the name of the planet. That'd be like the Earth's moon being called Earth, right? So you've got the planet Earth and the moon Earth, right? Which is a little odd. Although our moon doesn't have a name. It, of course, is not habitable. There's nobody living there. But if you take that, compare it to, say, Saturn. Saturn's moons have names, right? You've got like Titan that orbits Saturn. It has a name. We wouldn't then um, call this system. What would you call this system where Earth lies? It's the only habitable planet in the system. Would you call this the Earth system, or like the Milky Way, or how would you characterize that? And good morning, Lord Vito. Oh, good morning. Good to see you. You just need to charge your phone. Good. Well, thanks for stopping in this morning. And so we're just talking a little bit about the Nerd Card Showdown last night from a Den of Nerds, and this question that came up about the forest moon of Endor. So um, the the uh, the system, at least in Star Wars, is known as the Endor system. The planet is also known as Endor, and the moon is also known as Endor. Uh, to me, that's confusing, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. But that's what we see as canon, saying that it's the name of the moon, right? It's the forest moon of Endor and Endor. Um, if we look at the legends side of this same article on an entry in Wikipedia, you'll see that it basically says the same thing. That Endor is the forest moon of Endor, and the sanctuary moon was a small forest moon orbiting the gas giant planet of Endor. So again, the name of the planet, Endor. Name of the moon, the forest moon of Endor. Again, that's sort of like saying uh, Earth's moon is the uh, uninhabited moon of Earth, the forest moon of Earth, right? Like if Earth had multiple planets, rather than giving each moon its own name, like we have for Titan and other planets in in our own solar system. So that's what we see in the moon, or the Endor entry for Wikipedia. If we go to the Endor planet, so we've seen both in canon and legends that the name of the gas giant planet is called Endor. Well, let's take a look at Endor the planet, what it says under canon here. It says Endor, also called Tana, right? So they're saying that the name of the planet called Tana by the Ewoks, native to one of its moons, was a gas giant located in the Endor system. So Tana is the Ewok word for the planet Endor, which is the gas giant in the Endor system, binary system, blah 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 blah. So in here, there are different. And then it talks about the planet was orbited by 9 major moons, the largest of which was known as the forest moon of Endor. The ocean moon of Kef Bir was one of Endor's moons. So this is Kef Bir. Interesting enough, that's where Rise of Skywalker visits, and we see the remains of the Death Star 2 is on Kef Bir. So if you're going to name one of the 9 planets Kef Bir, what's the name of the planet where the Ewoks live? And we've seen that in both legends and canon that they call that moon Endor as well. So this is where a lot of us got tied up. If we go back into legends material, I think it goes on a little bit more. So Endor, known as Tana among the Ewoks, so that's what their word for Endor was the gas planet orbited by the forest moon of Endor. Endor was also sometimes used forest moon. So I've also heard other words used for the name of that planet. If you can think of that, share it with me. But so in any event, in the chat last night, we were saying, many of us were saying that the name of the gas giant planet was Endor. The name of the moon was something else. And it would seem that we were wrong because I think a lot of us had this idea in our head, at least I did. I'll put it that way, that the name of the gas giant was Endor, and the name of the moon was Tana. So that's what. And then I thought that that was the name of the forest moon, and then I thought Kefbir was the name of the ocean moon. But it appears that I'm wrong. It appears that the answer given last night in the Nerd Card Showdown was correct. So we've got to come back and give a little credit to Ryan, who designed those questions, and that he did have the answer correct. The forest moon of Endor is also known as Endor. As odd as that may seem, that's what it was called, Endor. Even though the ocean moon was called Kefbir. Then there are 7 other moons orbiting Endor that have their own designations. So I find that odd. To me, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Um, we know, like, for example, one of the moons orbiting Saturn in our own solar system is Titan, and there are other names of those moons. We've given each of those moons a different name so that we are specific about which moon we're talking about. And I use Saturn because it's a gas giant in our solar system. It's got many moons around it as well, and those moons have names. And it would be like calling this system the Saturn system because it's the most remarkable thing in the system. Except it's not inhabitable, nor is we don't have life as we think of it anyway on any of those moons. So um, this may be known as the Earth system because it's the only inhabitable planet where you would have beings that might travel to other planets, right? So, and then, of course, then calling the name of the moon that orbits uh, Earth, the Earth moon, which sort of makes sense, right? Or the rocky moon of Earth, the forest moon of Endor, is the equivalent. And to me, I don't know that it makes sense that Endor would be known as the name of that moon. But in any event, if we look at the canon and legends material, it'll appear that that is consistent. So as confusing as it is, I don't know that I've made it any more clear. It might still be, as they say, as clear as mud, but that's what Star Wars has given us. And I would say that it's not all that uncommon for Star Wars to leave things a little bit less than clear in our minds. So good on Ryan at the Den of Nerds. The question and the answer are absolutely correct from a canon and from a Legends material perspective. And if you're not following the Den of Nerds, or you don't follow the Nerd Card Showdown, we're down into the finals. They had round 1 of the finals last night, so it's a little bit of a giveaway. We do have a round 2 of the finals coming up next week. So, Mike, this is what's making me crazy. YouTube is trying to drive me nuts. Let me see if I can get this, because I go to start these live streams, and what happens? Yeah, let me see if I can. Let's see if I can get into the studio here and kill one of them, and hopefully it doesn't kill this one when I go to kill that one. But let's see what happens. I go to start the live stream, and it always starts one immediately, and it starts it with what we had previously, and then I go to start the one that I really want, and let's see here if I can make this one go away. I don't know that I can. It does appear that there are 2 at the same time. Nope, it's not gonna cooperate there. Let's see if I can I kill it? More actions. Delete forever. I understand I'm deleting that. Yeah, delete it forever. Let's see. Here we go. I can leave that screen. So I want to see what happens. I'm kind of watching to see. We're chatting. Yeah, I didn't see Lord Vito. This is what's it's making me crazy. So hopefully Trinity makes it over here, um, and we'll see what happens to that live stream over there. It should be dying. I hit delete that stream forever, but it may be stuck. We'll see. Oh, I think I killed it. I think I killed it. Hopefully, that'll straighten things out. We'll see. Um, so, error. Yeah, YouTube's trying to make me crazy this morning. So let's see. I don't know. It just says it's deleting a video. Oh, it's gone. Okay, good. So you guys are still here. Just make sure. It looks like, yeah. Why is our moon just called the moon? That's a good. Oh, that's a good question, Mike. Why have we not given it a name? Um, you know, there are lots of stories out there, especially from more ancient times about our moon. And hopefully, I see concurrent viewers are going up. We've got three. Maybe Trinity made it over as well. But anyway, yeah, why have we not named our moon? We named the moons around other planets, and we don't have a name of our own moon. And maybe because there's only one, right? That's the moon for Earth. And if there were multiple moons, then maybe we have named them moon number one and moon number two, or maybe they would actually have names. But in this event, we don't have names, and I'd be curious, and I'm just this is some ignorance on my part. If any of our cultures, so you go back to like Native American cultures, or more of the ancient cultures, or tribal cultures in the world, have name that they use for our moon. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. Um, so that's Mike. I don't know if you and Trinity had any other insights on that other stream, and I don't know if I can get YouTube to quit trying to generate multiple streams when I go to create a live stream. I'm going to have to mess with that today and maybe get some other folks to give me some advice on how to straighten that out. But anyway, so that was a point that came up last night, and I had planned on not doing a live stream this morning because we're going to have a live stream this evening with Lord Callus. We're going to talk about the extended universe, and that may go into both canon and legends. But we're going to talk about the extended universe and some of the material that we enjoy consuming as part of that. So that'll be 7 p.m. Eastern tonight. And so I wasn't going to live stream, but then last night this question came up in the Nerd Card Showdown, and I thought, well, that's worth a little bit of discussion this morning. And then there are two other things that came up. Yeah, Endor. Well, you say that Endor, is that this? No, there's no E. Yeah. Yeah, Endor is a system, a moon, and a planet. That's how they refer to it. But I think, as far as we're used to in our own terminology, in our own vernacular, we give them different names. Like we've got the Milky Way system, we've got, our galaxy that we are in, and then we've got, certainly the planets that orbit our Earth within that Milky Way system. And if we were to call that a particular name, what would we characterize it as? By the name of the planet where the people travel. So if we were in a Star Wars universe and we were to travel to other planets and they say, where are you from? You might say, I'm from Earth. And they'd say, oh, okay, that's in the Earth system. That would make sense because that's who you come in contact with, right? You come in contact with people from the only inhabitable planet where other beings travel from, and perhaps to. So you would call that the Earth system. And then the planet Earth within it. So you'd have the Earth system, the planet Earth. But then the moon, I would think you would call it something else, again, unless you're just going off that singular Earth's moon, right? There's only one. So, but when we have multiple, we give them different names. So the other topic that came up yesterday, and I saw a brief video on Star Wars Only. He talked about there's a Twitter movement out there called All Star Wars is Good. And is that a good movement or a bad movement? Is that helpful for the fandom, or is it causing some rift? Is it further helping delineate the divide in the fandom? Yes, yeah. The debate 8. We'll talk about debate 8 here in just a moment. But yeah, so the is all Star Wars good? Helping bring the fandom together, or is it further delineating the divide? Also, there's also a Facebook group called Non-Toxic Fans of Star Wars, and there's another one called there's several that are along those same lines that were fans of all Star Wars, that kind of thing. And as you and I thought Star Wars Only made a pretty good point yesterday, but I also understand where these movements are coming from, all right? Because people who enjoy the sequel trilogy, and this is where Star Wars Only is correct, people who enjoy the sequel trilogy often find themselves defending themselves against people in other forums. And they want to find some place where they can go and express their enjoyment for these movies without having to defend it, right? They can just talk about what they enjoy with other people who also enjoy. Um, and Star Wars has always had this bit of a problem between critics who want to bring up the flaws and fans who want to suppress that discussion, where they see that people who are being critical are putting down the thing they love. And certainly, everybody has their own thoughts. Everybody has the things that they're drawn to, the things that they like. If you didn't like the Ewoks in the original trilogy, which a lot of people got triggered over, then that's fine. You don't have to like the little carpeted bears that are running around and destroy great big walkers. You don't have to like that, but it's still part of it. And for many of us who grew up with that, I can remember people making fun of the Ewoks, and especially before they made some of the improvements in the revised editions, the special editions. The Ewoks got a lot of. There we go. Good morning, Trinity. Welcome over here. For some reason, here you guys can give me a hard time. Every time I go to start a live stream, it starts one. So I want to schedule a live stream. So I go into YouTube Studio and I go into create content, right? So I go to create a live stream. It starts a live stream immediately with the information from the last or from a previous live stream. It's already filled in. And then it starts it right now. And then it doesn't give me the option to start it later and to change that information. So then I click on the tab to edit the live stream, and I put in the information for the one that I want to schedule, the one, right, like this one. And as I put that information in, I get the error message that says, oh, you're already using this on something else. And I'm like, well, I don't want to use this on something else. I want it to have its own. And then I start the live stream. It wants to start up the the scheduled one over top of, or in concert with, right, parallel with the one that it started when I got in. And I don't know how to make it quit trying to start a live stream using the information from a previous stream and just, going live. So that's my struggles with YouTube. Uh, it, and I know from an age perspective, I'm a lot closer to a boomer than you are. But YouTube's giving me fits, and I don't know how to make it quit doing that. So if you have any insight there, I could use the YouTube coaching and figure out how to make that quit doing that. So and so anyway, there's been it's just karma. I know, I've got a lot of that built up too, because not only do I give you a hard time whenever you have technology issues, I've given Josh a hard time, I've given Adam a hard time, and because I'm a programmer and that's what I do for a living, I've had a lot of fun giving everybody a hard time about their tech issues, and now I'm having troubles with YouTube, and yeah, it's coming back to bite me hard. So that's exactly what's happening. So these movements that start around all Star Wars is good, or um, uh, non-toxic fans of Star Wars, or there's several others in that same sort of nomenclature, where you get people who are fans of the sequel trilogy. Is it further dividing? And Star Wars only made a pretty good argument for it. And I would say that we've seen Star Wars only, his argument was that it is causing a divide and it's not helpful. Because going back to the original trilogy, we have people who are upset about the Ewoks. Going back to the prequel trilogy, we have people upset about Jar Jar Binks and some of the terrible acting that was displayed in those movies, and dialogue, and it's caused a lot over the years. Some of us are still sequel haters, if that's the right term to use, and then prequel haters, and then of course now you've got the sequel haters. And what people want to do is come together and share their love for Star Wars without having to defend their own positions, or without having to be subject to the negativity that surrounds a lot of it. And so I understand where these movements come from. I understand why they kind of uh, generate. But I think Star Wars only had a point in saying that it's dividing, because in those groups, you're basically saying if you don't like part of Star Wars, you don't belong. And that's it. No, no, Mike, you're not a boomer by year. I don't think so. Baby boomer generation, I think, came right before ours. If I'm right, I think I'm just what, 2 years older than you, something 1 year older than you. I mean we're in the same ballpark. Boomers are our parents. Uh, I think by definition, and I think we are Gen Xers, if I'm exactly right. So, by definition, we're not boomers, but in internet uh, culture, I would say that take a look at me. They're going to call me a boomer right away. So that's just the way it's going to be. But they're using that to just kind of characterize people who have out of date ideas, right? Or uh, challenges with understanding current things. So 63 and 64 by definition. That's the baby boomer era. I thought baby boomers. I'm gonna have to Google this. What what ye, what years were baby boomers born? This says breakdown. Baby boomers were born between 46 and 64. Okay, they're 56 to 74 years old. Yeah. So I think Mike, that we made it just under the wire. I think you're I think I, I was born in '67, so I'm after the boomer generation, right? So if '64 was the end of it, I was born in '67. I know by definition I'm not a boomer, but I'm daggone close. So That's that's where that comes in. No, I think that Hawk. Good morning. Only boomers Google things like this. uh, Perfect example, right? So there you, there you go. Mike, you were born in '63. Okay, you're a bit older than me than I thought. I thought we were a lot closer. So yeah, I guess Mike, you are a boomer by definition, right? You're just under the wire. I'm just over. So that's great. So we can actually call Mike Porter a boomer, and not as an insult, but as a definition. By definition, that's what he is. So. But we don't mean it in the term that it's used in the vernacular that it's used in the internet terms. Everybody loves Mike. So there's that, and there's a bit of an arm wrestling competition between many on whose favorite Porter Mike Porter is. So Trinity has put a stake in the ground on that, and the other people were saying, "Hey, you don't have exclusive rights to that claim there, Trinity." So, so there's that. So there's that. Yeah, Star Wars only. I think he's absolutely right that these movements are somewhat delineating the divide, and and while I understand that it's a place where fans of particular material want to be able to go and not have to defend the things they like, the things they enjoy, then then that makes sense, right? It makes sense that people would be kind of wanting to come together in groups of people that are like-minded, and perhaps rather than saying that they are fans, all Star Wars is good. It might just be better if you wanted to create a bit of a safe room, if that's the right term, which would also trigger people, right? Anyway, if you wanted to create a safe space for talk about the sequel trilogy, and you don't want to have to defend yourself, perhaps that's how you should uh, uh, define your group is fans who love the sequel trilogy. And you could come in there and you could share all the things that you love about the sequel trilogy without having to defend yourself. And in today's words, that would be a little bit triggering, right? If you were saying, oh, you need a safe space to talk about your fandom because you might be a little bit of uh, too much of a child to be able to handle criticism. So I think that's probably not going to be helpful either. So that's that's what was driving that. Yeah, and Trinity, my favorite porter is well aged. That's great. That's great. So that was the second topic. So first we talked about Endor. We talked about dividing the fandom by creating groups like All Star Wars is good helpful, or is it further defining the divide? I tend to agree more with Star Wars only, who says that it's not helpful. And if there's something you don't like about a particular movie or set of movies, it's fine to share that. We just need to learn how to be a little bit more engaging and not as divisive, or the term comes up and it causes a lot of controversy to talk about toxic fans because the term is used whenever you say something that disagrees with somebody else. But I think there is a something that is truly a toxic fan is somebody who wants to put down somebody else because of what they like. So if you like a particular a scene in a movie or a particular character in a movie, if you are a huge fan of Jar Jar Binks, then I shouldn't put you down or make you somehow feel like you're not a fan because I dislike Jar Jar Binks, right? Or if you really like Rey from the sequels, you shouldn't be put down and told, well, you're not a fan, you don't have the right credentials, right? This kind of gatekeeping because you don't like something that somebody else likes, or you like something somebody else doesn't like. It's not a reason to kick somebody out of the club. I agree with Star Wars only in saying, like, if whatever it is that drew you to Star Wars, if you read that one comic book that you picked up when you were 8 years old, you were going through a store and you read it, and that's what drew you into Star Wars, and that's the thing that you latch onto as the thing that is most Star Wars to you, then great, you're a Star Wars fan. And if you dislike all of the movies, but you like the comics that you read as a kid, that doesn't make you not a Star Wars fan. If you have liked the original trilogy and hated everything that came after, um, you're still a Star Wars fan. If you like the prequels, you're a Star. Whatever it is, whatever the thing is that drew you in and made you enjoy, then you are a fan of that material within Star Wars. And what we're going to talk about tonight with Lord Callis is the extended universe, and perhaps people who haven't been exposed to as much. And I see this come up a lot in Star Wars fan groups. Says, I've not read any of the novels. Where should I start? Well, that's a loaded question, and it ties into what we were just talking about. What is it that you like about Star Wars? What's your favorite part? If you were really drawn into the prequels, then maybe you should start with some prequel material books. And to help me understand what the characters are that you really enjoy from the prequels, and we might be able to direct you more towards content that you find enjoyable. If you're not a fan of the prequels, well, give us some more information. So hopefully we'll provide people some of that content later this evening, 7 p.m. Eastern. Come back here and we'll try to get one stream started instead of two, and we'll see what happens. So, so there's that. The third topic, and this is a bit of spoiler zone. If anybody doesn't want to know anything about the upcoming Mandalorian season or the upcoming Obi-Wan series, now would be a time to part ways. Enjoy your day. Hope you have a fantastic day. And we hope to see you this evening when we talk about the extended universe. But perhaps this next little bit of discussion isn't something that you should be engaged with, because we're going to talk about some things that might give away not only some specifics, but also more plot-centered things that kind of give away the bit of flavor of the series itself. So, I just don't want any hard feelings because, oh man, you spoiled it for me. You've had your chance, you've had your warning. We're going to talk about some things. The next thing is yesterday, Corey and Noah shared some of the things that they know coming up in the streaming series from I'm trying to remember their podcast. Corey and Noah, their Star Wars. It'll come to me in a moment. But the first thing was for the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer, they know that they were shooting some trailer specific or some advertising specific scenes with Ahsoka Tano, completely done up in Ahsoka gear, makeup, wardrobe. She was wearing a gray cloak. She was there was some active scenes that we have, perhaps combat or action scenes that were being filmed specific to advertising, which I find interesting from two perspectives. One being that they were just doing this recently, and season 2 of The Mandalorian has been kind of wrapped for some time. But if they're doing advertising specific filming, then it means it goes back to something Trinity was talking about with comic books. Often with a comic book, and it's been my experience as well. Like the cover looks fantastic. The cover art is draws you in, right? You buy the book because of its cover. And they talk about how don't buy a book because of its cover. Well, in the comic book industry, covers are some reasons people buy those books. It might be because the cover was done by an artist that you follow. You're collecting that artist's work across different franchises, or as they're engaged to do. So you might get all kinds of different series. You're buying it for the cover art. And that cover art, the art on that cover would not be the art that is on the inside, right? The cover artist is not the same artist who did the inside art. So there'll be a little bit of discrepancy there. But the other thing that I've experienced, and it's somewhat common, is the scene, the actual scene. So you've got this action scene on the front, and the title of that particular issue. That scene never appears. Or you may see that nothing resembling that scene appears. like it looks like there's something happening on that cover, and when you read the book, the thing that was happening on the cover never happened in any kind of fashion. So not only was the art not consistent with the art that's on the inside, which is common, right? If you're a comic book collector, you should be aware of that you're not going to get the same art between the cover and the inside, except maybe on some rare occasions, perhaps with smaller publishers. But in most cases, you're going to get different artists on the cover than the inside. So there's that. But when the scene isn't reflective of the content, you feel a little misled. And so when we see that some action scenes were shot specifically for advertising, it reminds me of that. Are we going to see some action scenes that are like that comic book cover? They're flashy. They look great. It's fantastic. Wow, I'm going to buy this because look at that cover. And then you get on the inside and you're like, oh, I didn't, I didn't see that. So I'm just curious, right? Are we going to get something like that? So that's part of what Corey and Noah shared yesterday. The other thing that they shared was about the Obi-Wan series coming up, and they actually shared about what the series is about. And we know that it's a limited one season series. This is not going to be an ongoing series over multiple seasons. Obi-Wan was originally scheduled to be a movie, and then that script was kind of taken back and they broke it up into a series. And then like Josh from Den of Nerds heard that perhaps they were reconsidering to make it back into a movie, but we got recent confirmation that indeed it is a series. It's a limited series, one season, but we know now what the story arc is for that. And again, if you don't want to know that, and you want to just go into the Obi-Wan series and let it come to you, this might break some of that for you. The Obi-Wan series, again, according to Corey and Noah, they is the search for Obi-Wan, and it heavily involves Hayden Christensen and some flashback scenes. But they also said it involves Commander Cody and his force in his battalion there, and we also have Darth Vader, of course. So might Hayden be Darth Vader? The speculation is, what's the point, right? Because whoever you have in that suit, it should be bigger and taller, all that, than Anakin anyway. And if he's entirely in the suit, then it doesn't make sense that you have to have that actor. Much like with the Mandalorian, most of that's not done by the actor. So, and a good portion of that is done by stuntmen and that kind of thing. So I would expect that we see with Vader in the Obi-Wan series that the whoever's in the costume is going to be a stunt actor or a character actor, but Hayden is going to be in other scenes like flashback scenes from the Clone Wars, and that's where we'll see Commander Cody and the 220. I'm trying to remember 221st. I might be off on there, but anyway, his battalion. So that's what we have coming up in the next. Hey, good morning, Adam. uh, and it kind of ties into the last part here I wanted to talk about. So we talked a little bit about Endor. We talked about the confusion there. We talked about this the division in the fandom. We talked about the rumors we got yesterday, or the leaks we got yesterday from the Ahsoka appearing in the advertising for Mandalorian season 2, and of course the plot for the Obi-Wan series that's in the works. So I just kind of wanted to wrap up with some discussion on Fanjecture last night with Debate 8. We saw Star Wars won the whole thing, which was right and good. So all is right and good with the world. Star Wars won. There was the chat last night in Debate 8 was on fire. It was fantastic. The folks engaging in that show last night were on point, and it was entertaining to be engaged with. I was actually in the living room. We were watching Netflix, and I had Debate 8 up on my phone so that I could vote for Star Wars. That was my number one reason to be there. I needed to make sure Star Wars got my vote. But then also I was interacting in the chat, and it was a ton of fun. Debate 8 might be like one of my favorite shows at all. YouTube or television. If you haven't caught on the Fanjectures channel, I'll put a link here, and we'll find what's Adam streaming today. Let me see if I can go out there and get a link to it now. We'll probably be talking a little bit about the Debate 8 from last night. And we'll talk. Oh, I don't see. It's not on my notices. Let's see about Fanjecture here. Nope, I don't see anything this morning, Adam. But I will put this. I'll put this link in the chat right now. So here's. It's not a show. Fanjecture channel. Here we go. There's the channel. And I don't know what Adam's topic is this morning, but Debate 8 last night was a ton of fun. And it was funny because, I'm watching that on my phone, and I'm watching TV with my wife. Oh, no stream until noon today. Ah, okay, very good. When we wrap up here, you have a little bit of a break before Dinner Nerds Live. But last night, so I'm watching Debate 8 on the phone and engaging in the chat. And towards the end of it, we kind of finished the show we were watching on Netflix, and letting the dogs out and getting ready to go to bed. And I chuckled, and my wife said, "What's so funny?" I said, "Oh, it's my nerd friends." And she said, never mind, I don't want to know. So that's so you all I affectionately call my nerd friends, and in my family, they know what I'm talking about. It's this YouTube community that we all belong to, and I'm truly appreciative of the community as a whole, and in the kind of engagement we have, the support we have here. It's great. So I want to share that with you all. Lastly, I think just to kind of wrap things up for the day, there are a couple things. Just again, I share just a little bit with everybody every day, a little bit more about just me as a person, and in the times we're going through. There are people who are affected in very, very challenging ways. I've been blessed. I've got a fantastic family. I've got a good job. I've got great income, and I've got the ability to come here and talk to you guys every day is afforded to me through all those circumstances. There are other people out there that are having a much harder time, and so what I'm about to say, don't get too concerned. But I have two brothers. I'm the oldest of three. And the middle brother is currently in North Carolina. He's in an ICU isolation unit with COVID. He has pneumonia in both lungs, and he has been on oxygen treatment for since Saturday. So it's Thursday. He's still on oxygen treatment. Fortunately, he hasn't had to be intubated or anything like that. He's not on a respirator. He's just got oxygen treatment. So if you keep him in your thoughts and prayers, that'd be not to our family. But there are people whose families have been devastated by this, and there are people who are going through all kinds of other issues in the world that are very, very serious. So just it helps me when I tell you guys that this community is fantastic, and I truly appreciate being a member here and having the interaction. It's just fantastic. You guys are wonderful, and so thank you so much for that. Thank you for the support. I truly enjoy it, and we're hoping tonight with Lord Callis to talk about the extended universe and some of the things that we've been reading lately. And I've shared before, I use the public library system to get my Star Wars novels, and I consume those through audiobooks primarily, because I can do that while I work. I can do that while I mow the lawn, whatever it might be. So exercising the reindeer, whatever the case might be, I can listen to the Star Wars content and enjoy consuming some stories in the Star Wars universe. And Lord Callis and I are going to talk about some of that tonight. If you have not used the public library system, I would encourage it. It's easy to do. The application that I use is called Libby, Libby, and you get a public library card, and I've got one right here. Right, so this is from the Columbus Metropolitan Library in Ohio. This public library card, I put the number in, and I can get audiobooks for free, and I can listen to them. You get them for 3 weeks, 21 days. You get a book, you got plenty of time to consume it, and with that, you can start to enjoy the extended universe. So join Lord Callis and I, if you can, tonight at 7 p.m., and we'll talk about what our favorite, least favorite, what are you reading now, what have you read lately, and maybe we can kind of do this thing together and just share what it is that drew you into Star Wars and what it is that you find. And if you're looking for other material to help just extend your enjoyment, hopefully Lord Callis and I will be able to help you find something that you can latch onto. So I think, if I can't think of anything else, I know that some folks are getting here right at the end. We've got some folks, so I wanted to go back. Let me just touch base on this again. Endor. What is Endor? Mike Porter and I had some here, and I understand, Trinity, that you were on with Mike on the other stream that got started. But Endor, the question came up during the Nerd Card Showdown last night on Den of Nerds, and it was, what's the name of the moon? And I can't remember the exact question, but it says this moon was da 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 da. The answer, of course, is the fourth moon of Endor. But then we got involved in the chat about what is the name of the fourth moon of Endor. And so many of us, from recollection, knew that the planet, the gas giant that forest moon orbits, was called Endor, and it's in the Endor system. And so with all of that, then what's the name of the moon? And we also know that the Rise of Skywalker took place on the ocean moon of Endor, and it has a name. So what's the name of the moon, the forest moon of Endor? Well, we were debating it last night in the chat, and as I looked through information, and I'll show you both of these again, we'll just kind of wrap it up here with a recap. In canon material in Wikipedia, it says Endor, also known as the forest moon of Endor, or the sanctuary moon, is a small forest moon that orbited the outer rim planet of the same name. It's a homeworld of right? So the forest moon of Endor is Endor, and the gas giant planet that it orbits is Endor, and the system that it is in is the Endor system. So if that's not muddy enough for you, and just for the sake of it, in Legends material, if you go to Wikipedia and you look at the Legends material, it essentially says the same thing. Endor, known as Forest Moon, and the Sanctuary Moon, Forest Moon orbiting gas planet of Endor. Well, son of a gun, that's not helpful. And as we look then at the planet of Endor, there's canon and Legends material, but here you see Endor also called Tana by the Ewoks. Now, I know in my mind, this kind of got muddied, but here that talks about it's the forest moon of Endor, the ocean moon of Kef Bir. So Kef Bir, we know from the Rise of Skywalker. Kef Bir is where the most of the remains of the Death Star 2 crashed on Kef Bir. So you got to name that. So there are 9 moons of Endor. Kef Bir is the ocean moon. Endor is the forest moon, and then there's 7 others. Right? To me, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Why it would be called Endor rather than have a name much like Kef Bir has a name, and then. And I looked also in Legends material. Legends material also says the planet itself is known as Tana, and by the Ewoks. So that's a Ewok term called Tana, but that means Endor, and it's the gas giant planet orbited by the forest moon of Endor. So Endor. It appears that Ryan at the Den of Nerds, the executive producer who put together the questions last night, was actually right, and so wanted to give Ryan a little nod this morning. Say, actually, he wasn't wrong. We were wrong in our memory, but I honestly thought that the forest moon of Endor had its own name, and in my head, I had associated with this Tana. And so I was wrong in that, but I knew if Kef Bir is the ocean moon, then why does the forest moon not have a similar name? It doesn't make sense. Kef Bir. Adam. What are we going to do with you? The last thing here, and I know Trinity was on earlier. I give all of you a hard time about your technology. I've been struggling with YouTube lately. When I go to start live streams, it wants to start a stream using previous information right away, and then I'm trying to schedule a live stream, and I end up with two live streams generated every time I try to create a live stream, and I don't know why it's doing that or how to make it stop. So, Adam, if you or Trinity or Josh, somebody could help me stop creating 2 live streams every time I try to create one, that would be great. That would be, I don't know why I get 2 every single time. It makes me crazy, but I would appreciate your help. And so Trinity rightfully said it's a little karma coming back on me because I pick on all you guys about your technology. And so it's my turn. My turn. YouTube hates me. I don't know why it always wants to create 2 live streams, and it's making me nuts. So I could use your help. With that, we're going to call it a day, and I hope you all have a fantastic time. I've started a brand new project at work, so I'm not going to be as engaged as I have been lately. I've got a lot of reading to do. I've got to get caught up on technical specifications, computer programming, friends. I'm at a stage in my life where I'd rather be retired, to tell you the truth. But here we go. Here I am. I've got a brand new project. I've got to go read technical specs and get involved and then start designing an application to help this company out. So you guys have a great day. Again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate this community so much. If you would not mind leaving a like here, and letting folks know about my channel. I'd appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful day, and Merry Christmas, everybody. Bye-bye.